We're now being joined by Raymond Vickery, Senior Associate and Chair in the U.S.-India Policy Studies, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Trade, and he's Senior Associate at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Raymond, thank you so much for joining us. Before I come to you, specifically about what the Pew report is saying about India or the U.S., perhaps I'm not entirely surprised that the perception of China continues to slide, given what can only be described as really provocative actions that I was talking about a little earlier on this program, cartographical aggression, saying that all of the South China Sea, half of Asia, large parts of India all belong to China. Is that adding to the continuing negative impressions about China that are building up around the world?
Yeah, I think that what China is doing at the Xi level, the leadership level, is counterproductive. This business of putting out a map saying that an entire state of India is in fact the property of China is just unacceptable, and it's very bad timing. We're trying, I think the world is trying through the G20 and other mechanisms to pull people together, and for China to put out this map along with what it's already done in the 9-dot map about the South China Sea is very counterproductive.
When it comes to perceptions around the world, I'm going to come back to that Pew report. I'm sure you've seen that Pew study. Some of us in India, of course, there's high favorability ratings for India, for example, coming from countries like Israel or the UK or other such countries, Kenya, for example. But interestingly, not so much from some members of the global South, like South Africa or Brazil or Argentina. Does that surprise you a little bit?
India, Brazil, South Africa, I think, has its own history in terms of a memory about a time when there were conflicts within South Africa between those of Indian origin and those who were African in origin. That's the only way I can explain that. It is puzzling, isn't it? Particularly in view of the efforts which Prime Minister Modi and the MEA have made to reach out to the global South and to show how much that there is in common between the global South and India. But I don't think it ought to be a showstopper by any means. I think it's more reflective of a lack of understanding of India, of what has happened in India in terms of economic progress, the role in the world of India as a major power, rather than something that is to be interpreted as hostility.
Raymond, thank you so much for joining us with that perspective.